Let me discuss about a few multiple choice questions which are appear and to be appear in the examination. So the chapter is anatomy of flowering plants. The first question is, during the leaf formation and stem elongation, some cells of apical meristematic meristem left behind, they forms. Option A, primary cells. Option B, intercalary meristem. Option C, axillary bud. Option D, interfascicular cambium. So, the meristematic cells left behind while developing the leaf and stem are the axillary buds. So, such axillary buds in the future, it may develop into the side branches. When the apical bud is damaged, it helps in the development of lateral branches. So option option C is correct, axillary bud. The second question is primary meristem. Primary meristem. Option A, appear later in life of plant. B, appear early in life of plant. C, regenerate parts of a plant. D, both B and C. So primary meristem, when a seed germinate, so these meristematic tissue came from the embryonic region, that is in the radicle which will develop into root, and in the plumule which will develop into shoot. So that's why the primary meristem, it should be appear in the early life, not in the later life. Later life is a secondary meristem which will be differentiated from the permanent tissue. So here answer B is correct, appear in the early life of the plant. Question third, lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. So lateral meristem, option A, a type of primary meristem. B, appearing early in the life of plant. C, responsible of producing the secondary tissue, both B and A and B. Here in the stem, there are the meristematic tissue which appears on the lateral sides of the plant, like this one. These lateral meristem are the secondary meristem, so which is responsible to increase the girth of the plant. So option C is correct, responsible of producing secondary tissue that increases the girth of the plant. Next question is, the secondary meristem include fascicular vascular cambium, cork cambium, secondary phloem, both A and B. So in the secondary growth, we have studied the secondary growth takes place in two regions, one inside the vascular bundle. So vascular bundle, this is so fascicular vascular cambium, second one in the cortical region, cork cambium. These are the two secondary meristematic tissue which has an ability to produce new tissues. So here option D is correct. Identify the axillary bud given in the figure. So they have asked axillary bud given in the figure. A, first one, that is the primordial leaves which will be developed into leaves in the future. B, that is a second option, second label, that will be apical bud which will be helpful for the increase in the length of the plant body. The C, third label, the third label is axillary bud. That means in earlier question you have studied some of the meristematic tissue left out while growing the apical bud, that is axillary bud. So option C is correct. Next question. Parenchyma performs the function. So parenchyma is a simple permanent tissue which consists of thin-walled cells. What are the functions it performs? So one is photosynthesis. Yes, some of the parenchyma are having a large number of chloroplasts. So they are called chlorenchyma, which are involved in photosynthesis. Second, storage. Some of the parenchyma are involved in storage of the food material like the starch, oil, tannin. Third, C, secretion. Some of the parenchyma cells secrete some of the chemicals, either secondary metabolites or some of the hormones. These are secreted by the parenchyma. The fourth option, all the above. Here, the parenchyma performs all the three functions of photosynthesis, storage and secretion. Option D is correct. Parenchyma cells are parenchyma are the living thin-walled cells of simple permanent tissue. Parenchyma cells are A, of varying diameters with no intercellular space. B, of similar diameter with no intercellular space. C, of similar diameter with a small intercellular space. D, both B and C. The parenchyma in the pith and in the cortex having a small intercellular space, while the parenchyma between the xylem elements is a conjunctive tissue where it is compactly arranged without any intercellular space. That's why both the option B and C correct. Here option D, because it includes both B and C. Next, choose the best option. Choose the best option. A, all collenchymatous cells are assimilate food. No, collenchyma is a living mechanical tissue. In young condition, the collenchyma can assimilate the food, but matured and old collenchyma cells, they do not assimilate the food. Next, no collenchymatous cells assimilate food. What I have explained in the earlier option, some of the collenchymatous cells assimilate the food material. In any condition, they are able to synthesize the food material. C, some of the collenchymatous cells do not assimilate the food. Some of the collenchymatous, yes, the matured collenchymatous cells do not assimilate food, whereas young collenchymatous cells assimilate the food. So option C is correct. D, let me see D. All the collenchymatous cells do not assimilate the food. So option C is correct. Next question, question 9. Read the given statements. Few statements I have given, 1 to 5. Read out one by one statements, then come to the question. First, the sclerites are found in tea leaves. Yes, we studied that one in the synopsis. The tea leaves having the one type of sclerenchyma cells called sclerites. Second, fibers generally occur single in various plant pots. No, always fibers are occur in bundles. The fibers do not occur in single. So second statement is wrong. Let me see third statement. Sclerenchyma provides mechanical support to the young stem. Yes, it is correct. The primary function of the sclerenchyma is mechanical support. It is commonly called as dead mechanical tissue. Hence, third statement is correct. Fourth statement, parenchyma cells have thick wall. No, the parenchyma cells are usually thin walled because absence of secondary wall deposition. Hence, fourth statement is wrong. Fifth, collenchyma cells are thick walled at the corner. Yes, so collenchyma cells are round in nature. So round and elongated or cylindrical, these corners will be thickened due to deposition of the pectin. Hence, statement 5 is also correct. Here, how many are correct statements? So, statement 1 is correct, statement 3 is correct, statement 5 is correct. Hence, 3 statements are correct. Next question, 10th. Xylem has following functions except. Xylem perform few functions, among those ones which are following and which is not followed by or functioning by the xylem. A, it's a conducting water from root to the upper plant pot. Yes, xylem is commonly called as water conducting tissue. So statement A is correct. Statement B, conducting minerals from leaves to the roots. The xylem also conduct the minerals along with the water. Here also from root to the leaves, not from leaves to the roots. Usually leaves to the roots, food will be carried by the phloem. So at the B statement is an exception to the xylem. Let me see C and D. Providing mechanical strength to the plant pots. Yes, xylem is also providing mechanical support. And D, conducting sap from roots to the leaves. Is A, C, D are the functions of the xylem, whereas B is an exception. It is not a function of xylem. 11th, gymnosperms lack xylem vessels, companion cells, C, sieve tube and companion cells, all the above. So, gymnosperms, in the gymnosperms, xylem vessels are absent. It has only tracheids. Second, companion cells are also absent. Instead of companion cells, gymnosperms has the albuminous cells. The sieve tubes are present and companion cells. So both are not. So lack of all the above, option D is correct. All the above are lack because in the C, sieve tubes are present but companion cells are absent. Hence, option D is correct. 12. In stem, option A, protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem towards the periphery called end arch. So in the synapses you have studied in the stem, the larger metaxylem towards the margin and smaller protoxylem towards the center, such a type is called end arch xylem. So the arrangement of xylem will express by the location of the protoxylem. So protoxylem lies towards the center, metaxylem towards the periphery. It is called end arch. So statement A itself correct. Let me see other statements. Statement B, protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem towards the periphery. It is called exarch. No, it is wrong one, not exarch. Metaxylem lies towards the center and protoxylem towards the periphery. Metaxylem lies towards the center, protoxylem towards the periphery. It is called end arch. Wrong. So option A is correct. 13th, Which of the following statements about the phloem is correct? About the phloem is correct. The protophyllum consists of narrow sieve tubes. Protophyllum consists of narrow sieve tubes. B. Metaphyllum consists of narrow sieve tubes. Narrow sieve tubes. C. Protophyllum consists of bigger sieve tubes. D. Both protophyllum and metaphyllums have bigger sieve tubes. So here option A is correct. Protophyllum consists either smaller or narrow sieve tubes. Hence option A is correct. 14th. In dicotyledonous stem, which condition is present? A. Cambium is present between xylem and phloem. It is known as closed type of vascular bundle. Wrong. When the cambium is present between xylem and phloem, it is called open type. B. Cambium is absent between xylem and phloem, known as closed type of vascular bundle. Statement correct, but it is not a correct answer. In the monocot stem, cambium is absent. C. Cambium is present outside the xylem and phloem. No, cambium is present between the xylem and phloem. Option D. Cambium is present between xylem and phloem, known as open type of vascular bundle. 14th is correct. 14th option D is correct. 15. Statement A or assertion. Monocots have closed a type of vascular bundle. Assertion. Yes, the statement assertion is correct. Monocots have closed type of vascular bundle because absence of the cambium. Reason. Monocots do not show secondary growth. Yes, monocots do not show the secondary growth, in which a secondary growth is absent because absence of cambium. Both assertion and reason are correct, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. So hence the option B is correct. 16. Read the given statement in context of given figure. This is a vascular bundle. So A and B are the labelings given. Let me see what are those. First statement, A is a xylem and B is phloem. Second statement, A is a phloem and B is a xylem. A is a phloem and B is a xylem. Third statement, yes, second one is correct. A is phloem. Phloem is always towards margin and xylem is towards the center. So second statement correct. Third one, primary xylem in figure is end arch type. Yes, primary xylem is towards the center. It is end arch type. Fourth, primary in figure X arch type. Wrong. Second and third statements are correct. Hence, option C is correct one. 17. The stomata in grass leaves are. The stomata are covered by special guard cells. Those guard cells in the dicotyledonous plants, they are kidney-shaped guard cells in the dicot, whereas in the monocot or grass, they are dumbbell-shaped. Like this one. So in the grass, the stomata consists of dumbbell-shaped cells. 18th. Secondary xylem and phloem in dicot stem are produced by. Secondary xylem and phloem in dicot stem are produced by. So phloem is a secondary cortex. So that found outside the vascular bundle, that is in the cortex region. Second option, vascular cambium. Yes, vascular cambium produces towards the margin it produces the secondary phloem, and towards the inner side it produces secondary xylem. Hence the option second is correct one. Question 19. Casperin stripes occur in Casperin stripes. In the root, the endodermis are covered by endoderm cells are covered by a special type of arrangement like these ones, Casperin stripes. They become thick walled and do not permit the entry of water from cortex to the xylem. So Casperin stripes are occur in the endodermis. So option A cortex, option B pericycle, option C epidermis, option D endodermis. Here option D is correct. Casperin stripes occurs particularly in dicot root. Next question. Plants having little or no secondary growth are. Plants having a little or no secondary growth are. In the conifers, secondary growth is slightly present. So deciduous angiosperms, in all angiosperms, particularly dicotyledonous plants, it is present in monocot. Few of the monocot having anomalous secondary growth, whereas in grass, total absence of the secondary growth. So plants having a little or no secondary growth are the option C, grasses. Next, which of the following is made up of dead cells? The xylem is a complex permanent tissue which consists 4 types of elements: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So out of those ones, 3 dead, but xylem parenchyma is a living tissue. Collenchyma, it's commonly called as living mechanical tissue, that's also living. Phellum, it is commonly called as cork, produced by the cork cambium. It always dead cells. The cork or the phellum is used to close the mouth of the bottles, that is quarkus. So D, that's also phloem, consists living elements. Here all the dead elements are in phellum or cork. Option third is correct. Root hairs develop from the region of root hairs. So the root is growing like this one. This is the divisional phase which is covered by the root cap. This is elongation phase. This is maturation phase. Here number of root hairs are developed. These are the extensions of the epidermal cells. So root hairs are the region of maturation. It is correct, not in the elongation. So it is not consisting of root hairs in elongation, and root cap doesn't have elongation, and meristematic activity here also no root hairs. Hence option 1 is correct. Next, vascular cambium normally gives rise to vascular cambium. So vascular cambium, which is present inside the vascular bundle, here is a phloem and here is a xylem. So in between these two, it is presence of cambium. So earlier it is already phloem is there, it is primary phloem. If the cambium produces, that should be secondary phloem. Here the secondary phloem option is not given. The phylloderm occurs in the cortex region, not in the vascular region. So towards the inner side it produces secondary xylem. Hence option third is correct. Select the correct labels. Correct labels. So first I will give the list of the labels. Label 1 is epidermal cells. Label 1 is epidermal cells. And 2 are complementary tissue, that is loosely arranged parenchyma, complementary tissue. The third one is cork cambium. In the labelings, first one is epidermis, second one is cork cambium, third one is complementary tissue, and fourth one is secondary cortex. So here welcome option A. One is complementary tissue. One is complementary tissue. So A, one is complementary tissue. B, second, the cork cambium. The second one is a cork cambium, correct? A is not a complementary tissue. A is epidermis. So option B is correct. Next, identify the wrong statement in the context of heartwood. Identify the wrong statement in context of heartwood. 1. Organic compounds are deposited in it. No, it is tannin, lignin, and oils are deposited in the heartwood. So, the tannin and oils, these are the organic compounds. Hence, option 1 is a correct statement. Option 2. It is highly durable. Yes, it is very hard, dark brown in color and highly durable. That also correct statement. Third, it conducts water and minerals efficiently. No, the innermost xylem elements which is deposited by the tannin, lignin and oil which stop the conduction. So non-conducting elements are found in the heartwood. The third statement is wrong one because it explains it conducts water and minerals efficiently. So that is a wrong statement. Next, cortex is the region found between. So in the anatomy, outer layer is called epidermis and inner one is a steel. In between these two is a region called cortex. ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಹೊರಪದರ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಈಸ್ a cortex region. Option first itself correct. ಒಂದನೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, pericycle and endodermis. Immediately below the endodermis there is a pericycle. In between those two layers no other tissues. Endodermis and pith. In the endodermis and pith presence of the pericycle and vascular bundle. Last fourth option, endodermis and vascular bundle, usually that contains xylem and phloem. So option 1 is correct. Next, the balloon shaped structures are called. Here in the old xylem, particularly just what you have learnt in the heartwood, there are thin walled parenchyma living cells which will extended into the xylem elements, balloon like extensions. These are called tyloses. So option A, originate from the lumen of the vessel. Wrong. Characterized by sapwood. No, characterized by heartwood. Hagagi wrong. Third one, are extension of xylem parenchyma into the vessels. Yes, the third option is correct one. 28th, a few drops of the sap were collected by cutting across the plant stem. By suitable method, the sap was tested chemically. Which one of the following test results indicate that it is a phloem sap? So ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇಂದ, ಅದನ್ನ xylem ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವೋ phloem ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವೋ ಹೇಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ? So here the sap chemically tested, which of the following test results indicate it is a phloem sap? Usually the xylem sap is acidic. Xylem sap is acidic in nature, whereas phloem sap is alkaline in nature. So option B is correct. It is alkaline in nature, that indicates phloem sap. Next, specialized epidermal cells surrounding the guard cells are called. Here are the stomata. Stoma is an opening which is covered by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. Beside this one, there are thin-walled cells which lack of chloroplast. These are commonly called as subsidiary cells. So option A, complementary cells, those are loosely arranged parenchyma and the lenticels. B, or second option, subsidiary cells. Yes, these are commonly called as subsidiary cells, and they do not having chloroplast. So option second is correct. Next, you are given a fairly old piece of the dicot stem and dicot root. Which of the following anatomical structure will you see to distinguish between these two? So, one old stem ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರೂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಡೈಕಾಟ್ ರೂಟ್ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಗುರುತಿಸೋದು, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಆರ್ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ, ಹೌ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ವಿಶ್ stem, dicot stem from dicot root. So in the synopsis you have studied the protoxylem is towards margin in the root. In the margin, the protoxylem towards the margin and metaxylem towards the center. Whereas in the stem, the protoxylem is towards the center, metaxylem is towards margin. That is option first, secondary xylem, wrong. Option second, secondary phloem, wrong. Option 3, protoxylem. So by the protoxylem we can identify the stem and the root. So option 3 is correct. Next, tracheids differ from other tracheids elements in. The tracheids are the elements of the xylem. How it can be differentiated? Having Casperin stripes. In earlier question you studied Casperin stripes are found in the endodermis of the root, not in the tracheids. Second, being perforated. Yes, the xylem elements usually has a chisel shaped or pointed ends and the cell wall with a number of small openings called perforation. It is perforated. Tracheids elements are perforated. Option third, lacking of nucleus. These are dead cells, so chances of a nucleus is not found because of dead cells. So tracheids elements are found from other tracheids elements, tracheids. Other tracheids elements, xylem parenchyma have nucleus being lignified. So option second is correct, being perforate. Age of the tree can be estimated by option A, biomass. Option second, number of annular rings. Option third, diameter of its heartwood. Option 4, its height and girth. So in the secondary growth we have studied the autumn wood and the spring wood, both join to form a single ring called annular ring. So hence yearly one annular ring will be formed. By counting the number of annular rings we can calculate the age of a tree. Hence the age of the tree can be estimated by counting number of annular rings. Option second is correct. 33 question, 33rd. Interfascicular cambium develops from the cells of. Interfascicular cambium develops from the cells of. So here intrafascicular cambium, that means in the dicot stem there are two vascular bundles. Here is a phloem and xylem. phloem and xylem. In between these two, there is a cambium. This is called interfascicular cambium. Intrafascicular cambium, and this is parenchyma which will be differentiated. It is called interfascicular cambium. So such interfascicular cambium is developed from the parenchyma present in medullary rays. Medullary rays. So option D or fourth option is correct one. Water containing cavity in the vascular bundle are found in. So this is a vascular water containing cavity. In the anatomy of a monocostem, what we have studied, vascular bundles are scattered. There are two metaxylem elements, one or two protoxylem arranged in Y shape. So below this one, excess phloem elements combine to form a cavity called water cavity or lysigenous cavity. So these are found in the monocot stem only. Here the option given is cycas, that is a gymnosperm, pinus, that's also gymnosperm. So these two do not show any water containing cavity. Sunflower is a dicotyledon, there also absence of the water containing cavity. Maize is a monocot, hence option 4 is correct. Next, closed type of vascular bundle lack of. So whenever in the vascular bundle the phloem and xylem, if the cambium develops between these two, earlier the phloem and xylem were joined, the cambium, development of cambium separate those two, hence it is called open type of vascular bundle. So the closed type of vascular bundle, absence of cambium but presence of pith, presence of ground tissue and conjunctive tissue, the cambium is absent. Option 1 is correct. Companion cells are closely associated with. In the synapses you have studied, in angiosperms, the sieve tubes are always associated with a living cell having nucleus called companion cells. Actually, these two are developed from a single meristematic cells. These two are commonly called as sister cells. So option A, trichome. Trichome are the multicellular hairs. Option 2, God cells. God cells are found in the stomata. So companion cells are close association with sieve elements. Option 3 is correct. Next question. The common bottle cork is the product of. In earlier one question, I told you the cork is a phloem which is developed from or which is produced from the cork cambium in the secondary growth. So bottle cork is obtained from the phloem. The cork cambium is called cork cambium, is also called as phloem. So this phloem produces phloem or cork towards outer side and phloderm towards inner side. Phloderm or the secondary cortex. Hence the option 4th, phloem, is correct. Next, as compared to dicot root, monocot root has. Dicot root ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ monocot root ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ? So more abundant secondary xylem. So dicot root compared to dicot root, monocot, in the monocot root absence of secondary growth, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ secondary xylem is absent. So first is not an option. Second, many vascular bundles. Yes, in the dicot root, vascular bundle ranges from 2 to 6, whereas in the monocot root, vascular bundles are more than 6. It is called polyar type of vascular bundle. Hence, second option is correct one. 39. Ground tissue includes. For which one we will call it as ground tissue? So ground tissue ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಂಡಲ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಟು ದ ಎಂಡೋಡರ್ಮಿಸ್, ಅದು ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ರಾಂಗು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ಆಲ್ ದ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಟು ದ ಎಂಡೋಡರ್ಮಿಸ್, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಾಂಗ್. ಸಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್, all the tissues except epidermis and vascular bundle. Yes, between the epidermis and vascular bundle, it is commonly called as ground tissue. So, option C is correct, or option third is correct. 40th, cork cambium, cork and secondary cortex collectively called as. So, 3 layers are developed during the secondary growth in the cortex or extrastellar secondary growth. One is phellum, so phellogen, and phelloderm. These are also called as cork, cambium and secondary cortex. All the 3 layers together called as periderm. So option A, one is phellum, second is phelloderm, third phellogen, fourth is periderm. The fourth option is correct. 41. Some vascular bundles are described as open because of these. So for which one we are calling as open type of vascular bundle? 1. Possess conjunctive tissue between xylem and phloem? No. It is a wrong one. Second, are not surrounded by pericycle? Wrong. Third, are surrounded by the pericycle but no endodermis. If presence of endodermis, then it is surrounded, below that one is a pericycle. So hence that also correct. Fourth one, are capable of producing secondary xylem and phloem. So open type means in between the xylem and phloem, cambium is present. That cambium is capable of producing secondary xylem and phloem. Hence, option 4 is correct. Next, the chief water conducting elements in the xylem of gymnosperms are. The chief water conducting elements in the xylem of gymnosperms are tracheids. These are found in all, but tracheids are not efficient conducting. Second, vessels. Yes, the vessels are the good water conducting elements. Fibers do not conduct the water and transfusion tissue do not conduct the water. The vessels are the good water conducting elements. 43. Which of the following is not a lateral meristem? So plant in the plant stem, which is not a lateral meristem? The intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem we studied earlier. Here is a permanent tissue between two permanent tissue. If presence of meristematic, that is called intercalary meristem. These are the cells left out from the apical meristem. So that is not a lateral meristem. Intrafascicular cambium. Intra, within the xylem and phloem, xylem, in between xylem and phloem, if the cambium is present, called intrafascicular cambium, that is not a lateral meristem. So interfascicular cambium is not. Intrafascicular cambium. Intrafascicular cambium means the cambium present between the xylem and phloem, that is particularly in the medullary rays. So intrafascicular cambium, later it forms the lateral meristem, which is responsible for increase in the girth of the plant body. Option 3 is correct. Next question is, secondary growth does not occur in. So secondary growth does not occur in. Secondary growth is seen only in dicot stem and dicot root. Few of the monocot stem shows anomalous secondary growth, but true secondary growth are absent in gymnosperms because absence of cambium. So option A, gymnosperm stem, wrong. Option B, gymnosperm root, wrong. And C, monocot, D, all of these. In all of the above A, B, C, no secondary growth occur. Hence, secondary growth found only in the dicot stem and root. Option 4th is correct. Thank you.